A little bit about what you've experienced, how you feel different, any external things that you've seen shifted as well, whatever you'd like to share.
Well, the gratitude component of the program was by all means everything I needed. Everything. It was the missing piece of my life. And yes, I had grown up to be thankful and to be polite, if you will, but I had never been taught to be grateful. So stepping it up in that department of my life changed everything for me. I don't lose my temper anymore. I sleep better. I fall asleep better. I don't get up cranky. I tend to not even need food as much. I used to turn to treats a lot. I don't feel so discouraged when I get dressed in the morning, like, oh, I have no clothes. Like, I'm like, I have great clothes. Like, I'm fine. Even my old little car is now like the best thing ever. So it's really cool how my perspective has shifted completely. And now knowing my purpose, I've been able to let go of things that don't align with it, which is just completely freeing. I don't feel guilt. I don't feel shame. I don't feel regret. I just feel like, okay, it wasn't for me. Good enough, and keep going. So definitely a happier person overall. Still have my blue days, everyone does, but I'm able to bounce back quicker, which is a great feeling.
I had gotten into it with the thoughts of just one business that I really wanted to focus on. But with that, even being able to focus on that, I realized I cannot not pay attention to all the other things that are going on, because those were causing emotional shifts in me, which ultimately affected the business of why I was why I hired you. And I think that as you and I worked together, you picked up on, okay, well, tell me about this other business, which I had never really mentioned because it wasn't my focus. But it was occupying a lot of my bandwidth. It was occupying a lot of my emotional energy. And so you being able to help me with that and eventually sell them and let go of that was part of, what my ultimate goal was. And I had mentioned that it's health and wellness, and our last month, which is typically a very slow month in health and wellness, was our best month ever, which is incredible because it's not solely up to me, but just learning how to change my mindset and just change my approach to things, and sometimes just kind of let go of needing to control it all has actually helped. And so I think that's another good point too, is a lot of the advice you get when you hire a coach may be counterintuitive, or it may be, like, well, that doesn't work with my personality, but it may be exactly what you need. I think a lot of people probably think like this when you get into any type of training program. I thought it would be a lot more business specific, like, did you make your list? Did you do this? Did you follow up? How's your marketing? All of those things. And what I realized was it was so much more of working on me and my mindset and what I'm attracting, what I'm putting out into the world, because the other things fall into place as long as I could get these things done.
My experiences from that is how I treat people is different. How I treat them as if they're the most important person in the world. It's genuinely, I know that might sound a little bit weird, and even people in the shop when you're buying something from the supermarket, by being smiley, by being positive and saying, hey, have a great day, the amount of people that just look up and go, thank you. And if you can make that one person just feel a little bit positive, it's a nice thing. Absolutely, just using positive words in an email. Like in the beginning, maybe let's say I was like sending an email to someone I've never emailed before. Maybe I would have written something like, just a silly example, sorry to interrupt you, or sorry for,
Right.
Now I literally start it with like, hey, I'm here to serve you. Thank you for taking the time to read my email. But very, very assertive, but very positive at the same time. And being grateful for them, for, little things like that.
One of the things that's really interesting to me is I am a mortgage broker, and so I'm basically self-employed. I work on commissions, and I've been in the business for about 15 years. And as we went through the 7 areas of the program, there were 2 areas for me that stood out. One of them was money and my career. That was a kind of a combination. And the second area was health.
Mhm.
And so as we advanced in the program, I set vision goals. And
Mhm.
um, and and it was cool because every day as I was doing my gratitude, I wrote down that vision goal every day. Now I went through the program once, and then I took a couple months break, and then I went through it as a second time
Mhm.
because it was so important to me. And now, just as of last week, I accomplished my vision goal, which was to fund my own retirement and be able to retire by May of 2020. Well, as of last week, I've already funded it. So I'm actually 6 months early of,
Yeah.
and I've met that goal. And it's just awesome. Honestly, I really don't think I could have done it without this program. And
Mhm.
the other part of that is the second part of that is, um, I started my second vision goal, which is a health vision goal that I'm on track for. And I'm just really excited. It's given me skills, and I think the gratitude program specifically, what I have learned about gratitude and how it can change your life, um, whether it's uh, um, grace, whether it's um, overcoming anxiety or depression, whatever that is, gratitude is a huge key in that. And that's one of the things
Mhm.
that it's taught me that I'm really,
Mhm.
a goal for a long time. And I mean, ever since I started working, I've been working on the goal to retire and be able to accomplish something so that I can create do different things and better things besides just work.
Mhm.
And to be able to be there and have these experiences is really, really exciting. When you have accomplished that, it's
Mhm.
thrilling, really.
Mhm. Mhm. And so incredibly inspiring for your kids, your adult children, and your grandkids.
My life has changed completely, drastically.
Mhm.
And that has nothing to do with anything external. It's 100% everything inside of me and um, within my view of the world, within what I choose to focus on, what I choose to put energy into. Um, and I think that is the most powerful part of this process is, it's like a snowball effect that it starts out small and then you keep rolling it and it gets bigger and bigger. And it's almost like your soul like yearns for, you know, and as you continue down the path, more things continue to fall into your life that lead you to learn the things that you are here to learn.
Mhm.
And it's just really a beautiful journey. And thank you for being a part of my journey.
Yeah.
Like seriously, Nicole and Martin and Sharon, who's not here, like these relationships will never, I will always look back and you guys will always have a dear spot in my heart. I mean, always. I love you guys.
The transitions that I've made, I feel like I am a naturally positive, motivated person. So it was exciting to actually see there was still growth in those areas. And so some of the things I noticed with the first module, Gratis Shift, was just an everyday like joyfulness, just happiness. And I just was able to I just lived in this state of like gratitude and bliss. I saw a lot of growth in my career and interest situation. So I had a lot of goals in money making and trying to increase some of those aspects of my life. And what I found was that I gained the courage, or I just felt like I gained value
and I felt more valuable in order to charge more, or as a singer, right? Like book a certain show that might be higher paying, or I just felt I had more confidence and more value. There's been a lot of exciting things happening. Number one, I had a big goal to sign to a college touring agent, and I did that. I just figured that out. And so I signed with a college touring agency. And then also my songs, I pitched to TV and film, and so they play all over the world. And I had some more goals in pitching more songs to TV and film. And so that I'm wrapping that up at the end of the year. So that's exciting.
What made you decide to do this, to really jump in and start working together? Was there an awareness? Was there a life circumstance? What would you say was the thing, or maybe more than one thing, that made you decide to do these programs and work together?
I think the thing that changed my mind about jumping in was I wasn't getting anywhere with the methods I was currently applying to my life. I had heard of gratitude and I had heard of goals and such, but I wasn't someone who was very accountable to my own mission. I needed a coach. And I've worked with personal trainers before, so I was like, if I've invested money to work with someone for my body, why can't I spend money to invest in my mindset? Honestly, the connection between you and I was probably the final straw where I was like, yes, this is the right person to be working with.
An elevation, if you will, in every area of my life, right? My health, my relationships, spirituality, career and interests, things like that.
I think at any point when somebody comes to a point to where they're like, gosh, I've just got to do something different. I've always been big into reading personal development books or listening to them. And that's the whole theme. And sometimes I think we can kind of recite really nice quotes in our head, but not implement them. And that's kind of where I was, of like, the whole, like, if you want something different, you've got to do something different, and everybody needs a coach, and, other people can see your blind spots, all that kind of stuff. But I wasn't necessarily doing anything with those quotes. And so I just kind of got to a point to where I was like, you know what, like, really, really successful people have coaches.
I'm open-minded, but I was also skeptical. So I went along with my wife to support her one evening, and I just kind of thought, I think there was a line when Tony said it, but there was a line basically about we'll teach you the science of how this works, and I was like, okay, now I'm listening, because I like that. You can measure it, you can justify it, you can say, okay, you do this, you follow this, you do this, you get this result, and it's proven, it's step by step. I thought, okay, now that really got me. That really hooked me. That sentence is what really perked my interest. Literally the following day, we signed up, my wife and I. I'm a great believer in decision making. Make a decision, it felt right, made the decision, paid the money, job done. Never look back, basically. I've always been a great believer in coaching, and because if you can, why would you spend weeks and months trying to learn something off YouTube or books and things like that? I mean, books can be helpful, but a coach can compress your learning to a very, very short period of time and do this, like this, to do that. So going into it, I just genuinely went in with an open mind and thought, right, let's just see what this is all about, because who doesn't want to fast track their results?
I started this program because my daughter introduced it to me, and it started with the Grata Shift and the elevated gratitude. And when she showed me the program and talked to me about that, I thought, this is amazing. I immediately, I just thought, I thought it was wonderful. And so I got the package for all of my daughters and my sister. And, and so we kind of did it together, that first 30 days, and it was
Grata Shift.
And what was really interesting about it that I didn't realize at that time, that I always think it's interesting how something comes into your life when you need it. And I didn't realize at the time that I needed that, but because there was an event that what my daughter was going through with a really difficult divorce, this program taught me skills that I needed to be able to make it through gracefully that difficulty.
What would you share if someone who's thinking about doing, working with a coach like myself, or doing a program, like doing one of these programs, any tips that you might have for them to be successful in this kind of endeavor or to take the next steps?
One thing I've learned is if you're thinking about it, it's on your heart for a reason. Like, it's there for a reason, but we're all human beings with free will, and we get the opportunity to take action or not. And if you think back, there was probably a time in your life where that desire wasn't there, and that probably wasn't a time to do it. But if the desire is there now, you just make the decision to do it, and then you figure out everything else along the way. And Bob Proctor, who you had referenced, has a great article called The Decision. And I think that that is really the differentiator between seeing people that seem lucky or appear successful and not, is they do things backwards. They make the decision to do something, then they figure out the finances, the time, the place, all of that kind of stuff. It comes second. And once you can flip your brain to do that, then that ability to do that is what leads to success and everything else. So considering doing a program is your first opportunity at choosing the way successful people choose. And that's making the decision to do it first without figuring out what it looks like, how you're going to pay for it, how you're going to have the time. That is irrelevant if you haven't made the decision. So it's making the decision first, which is not what they teach you in school. It's not what society teaches you, and it's not logical, but that's the fun part. You know, extreme success in your vision should be logical. Therefore, your steps should be illogical on how to get there. But once you see it work, you realize, well, that's not illogical at all. It's just the way that successful people do it.
I think the biggest thing would be get a support system, not just a coach, but get somebody on board that lives with you to help you with this. For me, that's my partner, my boyfriend. And I just tell him I need to do my gratitude, or I need to do my homework, because there's a little book. And he's really, really understanding and supportive. And by no means was money flowing freely into my life when I started this program. But when I explained to him that this was a priority, he by no means stopped me. He was like, spend your money if this is going to help you. And we've made it work. We've just shifted things and it's been fine. So as long as you have that support at home, this will be an easy thing to include in your life and your daily practice.
I guess, I would say to anybody who's thinking of doing this or wanting to look into this is give it a go. You've got nothing to lose. In reality, you have everything to gain, and what you don't know, and that's a really good way to sort of think about it. Because I was Mr. Skeptical, Mr. I don't know what this is about. I have no idea what to expect, but hey, it kind of feels right, so we'll go with it, type thing. And look, obviously, what with the information we got from Tony and the support from yourselves and everything else, it's just fantastic.
Group coaching is powerful, and in so many different ways and on so many different levels. But the accountability aspect is huge. To have a phone call or something every single week with people that you get to know on different levels across the world. It has been phenomenal. And so I highly, highly recommend doing a group coaching of some sort. If you find yourself in circumstances that you can't control and you feel like you are completely out of control, this is a great avenue to explore.
The problems are never going to stop, and they're never going to get smaller if I want to continue to grow. And so this has allowed me to kind of embrace, okay, let's see what's next. I know where I'm going, thinking big and visualizing big, but having the confidence that if that is in my heart and in my mind, then it is going to manifest. So I can now be excited about the way I'm going to get there, rather than just working day by day and wonder where I'm going?
I have a great life. I've had a great life previous to this, and I have a better life now because of it.
First, I wanted to say that Nicole has been my coach, like she said, for probably like 7 months, and she's amazing. And I owe a lot to the changes that I've made and the shifts that I've made to you. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Everybody would be lucky to work with you. Watch out, world.